Hey, it's time to rip the band-aid off. Zani is back with a rerun in 2.7, and the hype is real. She was one of the most talked about characters when Wuthering Waves arrived to Resonators, and plenty of players wanted her because she looked badass in the story. She looked like top tier waifu material and seemed like the perfect hyper carry. But then she released, and suddenly people realized something was off. She wasn't quite the plug and play powerhouse that many hoped for. Instead, she came with strings attached. And those strings, they're named Phoebe and Spectro Rover. Yo, welcome back to the channel. Kamusta po sa inyong lahat? Okay, talking about Zani is like opening a can of worms. It's too divisive, too complicated, and too contentious because there's really no clear consensus. Some players enjoy her and finds real value in her. Others don't and regret pulling her. She's beautiful, amazing waifu design, sexy Italian accent, and a personality everyone loves. But in terms of investment, it feels like Kuro messed it up so bad because she received so much hype. Maybe they thought people are going to pay for her even if her playstyle and damage isn't as great. Maybe Kuro thought that locking her with Phoebe means people will be forced to pay for 2 units. I don't know, but to be honest, something about her doesn't feel right. The problem with Zani is simple but brutal. Her entire kit revolves around a Spectrofrazzle, a debuff that powers her damage and enables her enhanced heavy attacks. Without it, she basically falls flat. And here's the tickler. Zani doesn't even apply Spectrofrazzle herself. She's completely reliant on teammates to provide it for her, which makes her one of the least flexible DPS units in the entire game. Other characters can function on their own, but Zani, without her supports, she might as well be sparing practice for mobs. Phoebe was designed as the perfect partner. Her confession mode pumps out frazzle stacks so fast that Zani can function at full power without missing a beat. It's a smooth, comfortable, almost brain-dead rotation that makes Zani feel like the powerhouse she was advertised to be. But without Phoebe, Zani's gameplay shifts dramatically. You can try to pair her with Spectro Rover, and while it technically works, it demands way more effort, timing, and quick swapping to maintain her momentum. Okay, let's break that down in detail. With Rover as your partner, rotations feel tight and limited. Zani often only manages 2 enhanced heavy attacks before her frazzle fuels run dry. To keep her going, you're forced into a juggling act of quick swapping. Fire off Zani's enhanced resonance skill, cancel mid-animation by hopping into Rover, squeeze out another frazzle application, and then flip back to Zani to resume her flow. Done with perfect timing, this trick stretches her rotation into a precious third heavy attack. But the execution is brutal. It's not just a skill check, it's a constant demand for precision, awareness, and muscle memory. And even then, it never feels as smooth or forgiving as the Phoebe version, where frazzle rains down naturally and you can focus on damage instead of gymnastics. And that's the dilemma with Zani. With Phoebe, she's comfortable. With Spectro Rover, she's playable but a little clunky, maybe a little too clunky. And without either, she's barely functional. This kind of dependency is rare in Wuthering Waves, and it makes her rerun a dangerous pull for new players. If you don't already have Phoebe, you're signing yourself up for a difficult character who needs practice, skill, and extra investment in order to shine. And that's a lot to ask of from free-to-play players. But wait, there's more. Because you also have to factor in the playstyle. Zani isn't nearly as straightforward as other units who can just spam buttons and look cool while doing it. She's built as a parry unit, almost like a flasher Tao Shi, and that comes with its own baggage. If you enjoy that reactive counter-based combat mechanic, then she'll feel amazing once you get into the rhythm. But if you don't, The learning curve can be rough and frustrating, especially when you're trying to balance frazzle uptime on top of it. And not everyone is wired for that type of precision play. But the ones who push through and actually master her timing will find the payoff incredibly rewarding, almost addictive, because the parry mechanic transforms her into a stylish powerhouse when it all clicks. And then there's the weapon question, which honestly just makes the whole thing even worse. Getting Zani's signature weapon does help her perform more smoothly and raises her ceiling, but it also ties her even more tightly to external factors. And you're still shackled to frazzle uptime, and now you're sunk more resources into a character who can't function on her own. On top of that, if you really want to maximize her, you also need Phoebe's weapon, and suddenly you're talking about a ridiculous amount of investment for a single unit to feel optimal. Compare that to someone like Cartithia, who can happily swing a standard banner weapon and still shine, or Shakona, who thrives with her standard pistol. Zani demands far more, and that's why she feels like a trap for anyone not ready to go all in. Now, don't get me wrong, Zani has insane potential when she's properly supported. Her enhanced heavy attacks still hit like a truck, her liberation feels satisfying, and in the right hands, she can melt towers just as well as any top tier DPS. But the path to unlocking that power isn't straightforward. It's gated behind other pools, timing, and a steeper learning curve. Compare that to other DPS who can perform on their own, and it starts to feel like Zani's kit was deliberately designed to punish players who don't have her supports. And so where does that leave you, us? Zani isn't doomed, but she's not flexible either. With Phoebe, she feels like the queen of Spectro. With Rover, she's tolerable, playable, but demanding. Without either, she's one of the weakest investments you can ever make. That's why I call her Rerun kind of a trap, especially for newer players. She's gorgeous, stylish, and powerful on paper, but she comes with baggage you have to be ready for. So is Zani's Rerun really a trap? For a lot of players, yes. She's a character who demands specific pieces around her to shine, and that's always risky in a rerun. But if you've got the tools or you're willing to put in the extra work, she's still that it girl. The only question is whether you're ready to play around her conditions. The final verdict: if you're new to the game, here's the bottom line. Pull for Zani if you love her and want her in your roster no matter what. Just don't expect her to carry you out of the box. She'll need support, skill, and probably Phoebe somewhere down the line. If you're free to play and you value flexibility, she's not the safest pick. And if you already have Phoebe, congratulations. You're about to have one of the most satisfying hyper carries in the game if you can handle her playstyle. But to be honest, like Phoebe herself can actually become a main DPS. Now, if you're a whale, you don't care about the money, you're rich, go ahead, knock yourself out. Those skin off my teeth. Just invest, invest, invest. Go ahead, go for it. Go, enjoy. Okay, so that's the video. If this video resonated with you, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Hit that bell for extra damage. Thank you so much for watching. Maraming salamat po, and I will see you in my next video drop. Goodbye!